I'm about to expose the 5 conditions that the VA almost always underrates, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot these tactics and fight back. But here's the thing that's going to shock you the most: one of these conditions is so commonly underrated that it affects over 70% of all veterans who file for it, yet barely anyone talks about it. Before we dive into this, I need you to do something. Look at your current VA rating right now. Because I guarantee that after watching this video, you're going to realize you've been shortchanged, and if you stick around until the end, I'll tell you about the one condition that the VA tries to hide from you completely. Let's start with condition number 1. Mental health conditions, specifically PTSD and depression. Now you might think the VA takes these seriously, but here's what they don't want you to know. The VA has this tactic where they'll give you a 30 or 50% rating for PTSD, but then they completely ignore how that PTSD affects every other aspect of your life. Think about it. When you have PTSD, does it just magically stay in one corner of your brain? Of course not. It affects your sleep, your relationships, your ability to work, your physical health, but the VA will rate your PTSD at 50%. And then when you file for sleep disorders or digestive issues or headaches that are directly caused by your PTSD, they'll either deny them completely or give you ridiculously low ratings. Here's the kicker. They do this intentionally. The VA knows that mental health conditions create a cascade effect throughout your entire body, but they've set up their system to compartmentalize everything. They want to keep your ratings as low as possible, and they figured out that the best way to do this is to pretend that your mental health exists in a vacuum. But wait, it gets worse. The VA also loves to downplay the severity of your mental health symptoms. They'll focus on the days when you're functioning okay, and completely ignore the days when you can't get out of bed. They'll say you're able to maintain relationships because you're married, completely ignoring the fact that your marriage is hanging by a thread because of your PTSD symptoms. Now let's talk about condition number 2, and this one is absolutely infuriating because it affects so many veterans: traumatic brain injury, or TBI. The VA's approach to TBI ratings is so backwards it would be funny if it wasn't ruining lives. Here's what happens. You get a TBI rating, let's say 30%. But then every single symptom that stems from your TBI, the memory problems, the headaches, the dizziness, the cognitive issues, the mood swings, the VA treats these as separate conditions. And here's the crazy part. They'll often deny these secondary conditions or rate them so low it's insulting. The VA knows that TBI doesn't just cause one problem. It's like a bomb going off in your brain that affects everything. But their rating system is designed to make you fight for every single symptom separately. It's exhausting, it's time-consuming, and it's exactly what they want. They're counting on you getting frustrated and giving up. The VA will use outdated testing methods to evaluate your TBI symptoms. They'll give you a cognitive test that was designed in the 1970s and then use your results to justify a low rating. Meanwhile, you can't remember your kids' names half the time, but according to their test, you're functioning just fine. Condition number 3 is going to shock you because it's something that affects almost every combat veteran, but the VA acts like it doesn't exist: hearing loss and tinnitus. Now, you might be thinking, but the VA rates hearing loss all the time. And you're right, they do. But here's what they don't tell you. The VA's hearing tests are designed in a way that makes it almost impossible to get a fair rating. They test your hearing in a perfectly quiet room with perfect acoustics. When was the last time you were in a perfectly quiet room in real life? In the real world, you're dealing with background noise, multiple conversations, traffic, and music. But the VA doesn't care about that. They care about whether you can hear pure tones in their sterile testing environment. It's like testing your driving ability in an empty parking lot and then expecting you to navigate rush hour traffic. And don't even get me started on tinnitus ratings. The VA treats tinnitus like it's no big deal, 10%. But anyone who lives with severe tinnitus knows it's torture. It affects your sleep, your concentration, and your mental health. But the VA acts like it's just a minor annoyance. And since late 2025, the proposed plan is to eliminate tinnitus ratings altogether and only rate it as an underlying symptom of other conditions. So, if you suffer from tinnitus and have not filed, I strongly recommend claiming now under the current rules before changes go into effect, sometime this year of 2026. Here's condition number 4, and this one hits close to home for a lot of veterans: back and neck injuries. The VA loves to underrate these because they're hard to prove and they affect everything you do. The VA will look at your X-rays and MRIs, and if they don't show severe damage, they'll give you a low rating. But here's what they ignore: pain. You can have chronic debilitating pain that affects every aspect of your life, but if it doesn't show up clearly on their imaging, they act like it doesn't exist. And here's their favorite trick with back injuries. They'll rate your back condition, but then when that back condition causes problems with your legs, your walking, your ability to stand for long periods, they'll either ignore these secondary issues or rate them separately at ridiculously low levels. The VA knows that back injuries don't exist in isolation. When your back is messed up, everything else gets thrown off. Your gait changes, which affects your knees and hips. You can't sleep properly, which affects your mental health. But they pretend like your back exists independently from the rest of your body. Now, before I reveal condition number 5, I want you to think about something. How many times have you walked out of a VA appointment feeling like they didn't understand the full scope of how your disabilities affect your life? How many times have you tried to explain that your conditions work together to make your life miserable, only to have them treat each condition like it's completely separate? And this is exactly where a lot of veterans get stuck, not because their conditions aren't real, but because the VA system isn't built to connect the dots for you. That's why many vets choose to work with Re-Medical. They specialize in helping veterans clearly document how multiple conditions interact and impact daily life. So, nothing gets minimized, overlooked, or treated in isolation. Instead of fighting the system alone, you get expert guidance focused on telling your full story the right way. I've shared the link in the description box below. This brings us to condition number 5, and this is the big one. The condition that the VA almost never rates appropriately, and when they do, they fight you every step of the way: sleep disorders. Here's why sleep disorders are so underrated. The VA treats sleep problems like they're a luxury issue. Like getting good sleep is nice to have, but not essential. But anyone who's dealt with chronic sleep problems knows the truth. Poor sleep destroys everything: your physical health, your mental health, your ability to function, your relationships, your job performance. But here's the VA's secret about sleep disorders. They know that almost every other condition you have either causes sleep problems or makes them worse. PTSD causes nightmares and insomnia. Chronic pain keeps you awake. TBI affects your sleep cycles, but instead of recognizing that your sleep disorder is often the central issue that makes everything else worse, they treat it like an afterthought. The VA will give you a tiny rating for sleep apnea, and then they'll act like that takes care of the problem. Meanwhile, you're getting 3 hours of broken sleep every night, and it's affecting every single aspect of your disability profile. They've compartmentalized your sleep issues away from everything else. Here's what makes this even more upsetting. Good sleep is literally the foundation of healing and recovery. Without proper sleep, your body can't repair itself, your brain can't process trauma, your immune system can't function properly. The VA knows this, but they continue to underrate sleep disorders because they know that if they rated them appropriately, it would expose how interconnected all of your conditions really are. So what can you do about this? First, you need to understand that the VA's rating system is designed to minimize your disabilities, not accurately reflect them. Second, you need to document everything, every symptom, every bad day, every way that your conditions affect each other. Most importantly, you need to understand that you don't have to accept their initial ratings. You have the right to fight back, to appeal, to demand a fair evaluation, but you need the right knowledge and strategy to do it effectively. If this video opened your eyes to how the VA has been shortchanging you, and you want to learn more about maximizing your VA benefits, check out our Unlock More VA Money playlist. It's packed with strategies and insider knowledge that can help you get the rating you actually deserve. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 5 conditions hits closest to home for you. Have you experienced the VA underrating any of these conditions? Your story might help another veteran realize they're not getting what they deserve. Remember, the VA is counting on you to accept whatever they give you and walk away. Don't give them that satisfaction. You earn these benefits through your service and sacrifice.